watching M.O.D Entertainment. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check out the website to get the gear. The link will be in the description.
Voice music.
From the land of the gang signs and blue rags, where we post up, never hesitate to blast. Where the weak don't last and the strong end up on the map. From the Golden State, where the real G's be at. From the LA County, homie, where we know to bang. Shit is nothing growing up, you knew you had a back. Put it down for the vital, never will I rank. Ponte ducha all the time, you better watch your back. Cause she'll crack up, homie, it don't matter where you at. This is real gangster shit, only talking facts. It's the truth, ain't no lie, we don't need no caps. Just a Glock, stolen whip, in a Blasky mask. Shit is nothing busting hollers, we don't need to brag. From the
G-File.
Alright, now starting off right here in Pasadena. Yes, Pasadena does have neighborhoods, despite what people say. Those are people that are talking without knowing, the ones that are really from the streets, that really don't know, how the get down goes. Because Pasadena does have neighborhoods that are well respected and that put in work. They have homies doing life for murders and all kinds of shit. And I will be covering the black neighborhoods as soon as I'm done with the Hispanic ones. You know what I mean? So those are coming. But yeah, we have Barrio Pasadena Rifa, which is one of the oldest neighborhoods right here. I was told that it's been around since the 40s, 50s, is when this neighborhood was established. And this is the neighborhood in which L-Boy, the rapper, the one that sang to Mac 10's label, you can peep out his music right here on YouTube. He has good stuff. This is the barrio in which he's from. You know what I mean? This is his neighborhood. And seems like Barrio Pasadena Rifa has beef with everybody, you know what I mean? It seems like they don't really have any allies. Seems like they just go at it with everybody, you know what I mean? It's one of the most hated neighborhoods. It be cracking, you know what I mean? The VPR right here. And now their neighborhood is located right there, Woodbury Road, to North Lake Avenue, all the way to Washington. And from Washington all the way to Los Robles Avenue. So everything that's in the middle of that is considered their neighborhood. So throughout Highland Street, throughout Elizabeth Street, throughout Howard, Rio Grande, Palm Terrace, all of that is what's considered their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Which is a pretty large chunk of territory. Like I said, they are one of the oldest neighborhoods in this area, but not the largest, you know what I mean? Even though they're old school, they're not really that big, you know what I mean? Compared to some of these other sets that are located in this area, you know what I mean? But don't get it twisted, homie. They handle their business, you know what I mean? They will get it on and cracking. Like I said, Pasadena has its dangerous areas, you know what I mean? And they get it on and cracking. Now, like I said, their heart of their dojo, their main domain is right there where it's La Pinturesca community, between Summit and Penn Street. That is the heart of their domain, their dojo. And they do have two cliques, you know what I mean, for their neighborhood. They have the Bullets, and the second one is called the Assassins. So those are the name of the clique guys, you know what I mean? And like I said, they just pretty much they go at it with everybody around this area, but continue to hold their ground down and continue to put their barrio up on the map, you know what I mean? These guys ain't no suckers, but that's what's up with the Barrio Pasadena Rifa right there. Here's another neighborhood that has already been right here for a cool minute in the Pasadena area. I was told roughly around the 60s, 70s when this neighborhood was established, early 60s. Now, this neighborhood is the Villa Boys Pasadena. Now, the Villa Boys Pasadena got their name for Villa Park. That is their heart of their dojo, their main domain, where they get it on and cracking, you know what I mean? The Villa Boys is one of the well-known neighborhoods in this area, one of the largest, one of the notorious ones. As a matter of fact, so notorious that the city of Pasadena filed a gang injunction on these guys. That's how much noise they were making. And they have a big chunk of territory right next to the Denver Lanes, you know what I mean? Really close to their, to their neighborhood as well. But the Villa Boys neighborhood consists of what's Orange Grove Boulevard, and I would say from Orange Grove Boulevard all the way to where the freeway's at, and then to Maple Street. And from Maple Street, I would say their neighborhood stretches all the way to north of Hill Avenue. So everything that's in the middle is considered their neighborhood, which is a vast chunk of territory, which is against the freeway wall right there. So you gotta be through chat with them, dead ends that reach out there and like I said, man, this neighborhood gets it on and cracking, homie. These guys ain't no chumps, ain't no suckers. You know what I mean? They're one of the more larger neighborhoods out of Pasadena. You know what I mean? And they get it on and popping, homie. Now, I know that there's people that say that there used to be Norteño neighborhood and this and that. That is not true. When they originally started, you know, they had a lot of homies that were immigrants, so they really didn't know the get down of the politics out here and stuff like that. So they just wanted to be different. That's why they used to write 14, plus that was a 1400 block in which they hanged out. So it has nothing to do with the north side, or they wanted to be norteños, or none of that. You know what I mean? They didn't know, you know, anything about none of that. And at the time when they were even established, none of that had even existed and stuff like that. But like I said, they were just trying to do, you know, like something different, but then they ended up just complying and, following the guidelines just like everybody else. But the Villa Boys was never norteños, always been with the business, always have held it down, always put it on the map and continue to do so, you know what I mean? Like I said, right there in the Villa Park, their main domain, their heart of their hood, they're where they keep it active, homie. But that's what's up with the Villa Boys, Pasadena neighborhood. And I know that people think that Crazy Boys is his own neighborhood, but it's not. You know what I mean? It is a clique that's established with the Villa Boys. But yeah, that's pretty much their get down. But that's what's up with the Villa Boys right there. Now here's another neighborhood that we have right here in Pasadena, which from the last time I had to cover them, people were trying to say that there's no MS in Pasadena. Those are people that really have no idea what they're talking about. Clearly are not from the streets and clearly don't really know what's going on. Because MS is in Pasadena. As a matter of fact, one of its most largest and notorious cliques comes out of this area, which is the PLS. PLS standing for Pasadena Locals. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put some reports on here, you know what I mean? Because, there's some people that are just ignorant. Pasadena Locals is one of MS's most dangerous clique. One of its most largest and notorious, you know what I mean? Known for all kinds of murders and all kinds of shit. Like I said, people are gonna want to say whatever they want, you know what I mean? But these are the facts. You can't argue against the facts. You know what I mean? I know it's people's pride that sometimes, doesn't allow them to speak the truth. But I'm not a hater. I'm just here to call it what it is. I pick no sides, nor am I, glorifying theirs or nothing like that. I'm only stating, the facts. So, they do have the Pasadena Locals, which is one of the more notorious, largest cliques, that has even spread out to different states. Now, their neighborhood was located, Washington Boulevard to Fair Oak Avenue, and from Fair Oak Avenue to Mountain Street, and from Mountain Street, I would say to Marengo Avenue. So everything that's in the middle, is considered their neighborhood. So what's through Raymond and Summit and Hammond Street and Claremont, all of that is what's considered their neighborhood in the heart of the Bloods neighborhood. You know what I mean? Of the Denver lanes. As a matter of fact, this is the reason why they formed, because when they first landed there, they were getting mistreated, by African Americans and everything like that. So they banded together, and you guys already know how the stories roll. After that, it creates a monster. But yeah, the Pasadena Locals, have been right here, close, really close to Robertson Park, where they handle their stuff, where they do their thing too, you know what I mean? Like I said, MS is just with the business, they're worldwide, notorious, and this is their Pasadena clique right here. And here we have one of the more larger active neighborhoods in this area, the one that is definitely well known in this area, notorious, gives law enforcement a hard time. Even they say that, they're not to be played with. You have the Pasadena Latin Kings. Pasadena Latin Kings, this is the home base of theirs, one of their deepest and strongest cliques off of their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Right here in the Pasadena area, because Pasadena Latin Kings, the Latin Kings neighborhood is located in different, spots. They're located in Fontana, the San Fernando Valley. They're located in East LA, Commerce. They're located in so many different places, and it is all the same neighborhood. You know what I mean? and it is the same as the ones in the East Coast, so they are the same as them. It's just that over here they roll with our program. You know what I mean? They're sureños, homeboys. Despite what people want to say, they are homeboys. You know what I mean? That are with the business. I got a few homies out of the Latin Kings neighborhood. And let me tell you, homie, they with the business. You know what I mean? These guys ain't no suckers. As a matter of fact, they got some music on here as well on YouTube. You could check out Pretty Firme Rolas. You know what I mean? They have several. You know what I mean? I think they have a few CDs out. You know what I mean? If I'm not mistaken, shout out to King Cash. You know, out the Latin Kings neighborhood. Now, right here in you know, in Pasadena, this is like, you know, one of their most well-known locations. You know, because they're large. You know what I mean? If not the largest, you know, out of everywhere where they're at. Polly Fontana is getting large too, but I would say that you know, the Pasadena one is by far the largest. You know what I mean? When we're talking about now the neighborhood's right here on Washington Boulevard to Los Robles, all the way to Orange Grove Boulevard, all the way to North Lake Avenue, close to Washington Park. So what's Hudson, what's Molino, what's Claremont, Jackson Street, Mountain Street, you know, all of that is was considered the neighborhood. You know, roughly a nice chunk of size of territory, you know, right there was considered Orange Heights, by Washington Square, almost really close to the, you know, Bloods neighborhood. You know, why there's, you know, tensions and conflicts and shit of that. You know what I mean? They're hard in the danger zone. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of neighborhoods right there. That is the danger zone of Pasadena. Like I said, where it's on and cracking. You know what I mean? People just fighting for grounds. Where it gets on and popping, homie. You know, these guys ain't no suckers, ain't no chumps. Like I said, Pasadena Latin Kings are homeboys, are with the business, and continue to hold it down as such and represent theirs. But that's what's up with the Latin Kings right there, representing for Pasa. And right here we got the NSP neighborhood, not to be confused with Northside Pomona. This is the Northside Pasadena neighborhood. Northside Pasadena neighborhood has already been right here for quite some time. You know what I mean? Definitely have the writer. Shout out to the homie Jokes from Northside Pasadena, Firme Camarada. You know what I mean? This is the neighborhood which is in this area, was located on the what's Allen Avenue all the way to Corson Street, and from that I would say to La Tierra Street, and then from La Tierra I would say all the way to Sunny Slope Avenue, and then from that I would say all the way to Foothill Boulevard. So they have a large chunk of territory, you know what I mean? All the way to where the freeway extends, all the way to Altadena Drive. You know what I mean? So that's a vast chunk of territory we're talking about. We're talking about what's Parkwood, what's Greenwood, what's San Marino, what's Oak Avenue, what's Grand Oak Avenue, what's Walnut Street, what's Foothill Boulevard, what's White Street. You know, all of that is what's considered their neighborhood, which is a large chunk of territory. This is a pretty old school clique that has been around since the 60s. That's what I was told. They're with the business. They get it on and cracking. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, they even got some rappers. You can scope out up-and-coming rapper right here on YouTube who's from Northside Pasa. You know what I mean? They get down. Obviously, Pasa being, you know, short for Pasadena. That is how they pronounce their names. You know what I mean? And like I said, this neighborhood with the business, homie. Be going at it with surrounding neighborhoods right there. It's got its reputation, you know. It be handling business, and even though it's kind of like in the upper side, away from like all the rest of the gangs, it handles business, you know. Right there on Oak Street is their heart of their dojo, their main domain, where it be going on and cracking, you know what I mean? Closer right there through Mar Vista, because you have the Mar Vista Grandes as their clique, you have the Oak Street Locals, you have the Jokers, you have the Dukes. You know, they have several cliques, homie. So this barrio, like I said, you know, they pretty large. They with the business, homie. Don't ever get it twisted, you know. Like I said, this area may look nice, but looks good to see. And, you know, that's how they get down. But that's what's up with the Northside Pasadena neighborhood, holding it down right here and representing for theirs. And here we have roughly one of the more New York sets out of Pasadena. You have the West Side Pasadena, located on the west side of Pasadena. It's roughly the newest one. Has only been around since the late 80s, early 90s, what I was told. You You know, that's the WSP, not to be confused with Westside Pomona or none of those neighborhoods. Westside Pasadena is its own neighborhood, and yes, it's a real gang. Despite what people want to say, it is a real neighborhood. You know what I mean? They're just one of the more smaller ones. You know what I mean? You roughly don't hear or see them up as much. Graffiti was never really their thing. Seems like they have a pretty good relationship with the black neighborhoods around this area, which is, you know, quite odd considering, you know, there's the tensions between Hispanics and black neighborhoods in this area, but seems like there's no issues between them. You know what I mean? Seems like they're all, you know, it's all good and gravy. Now, the heart of their hood, their main domain is what's Pepper Street and Sunset Avenue. So through those dead ends is what's considered their neighborhood, their heart of their domain, their dojo, where they get it on and popping. You know what I mean? And they're roughly a more smaller neighborhood. I was told that they're roughly only about 50 heads. So roughly a little bit more on the smaller side. But continue to still represent theirs, continue to still, you know, put theirs on the map and hold it down. But that's what's up with the Westside Pasadena neighborhood. Still holding it down right here. Now here we have an interesting neighborhood that's already an old school barrio, just that it had died out. People don't really hear about it. Now this neighborhood has already gone through a few transformations, but I'm just gonna try to break it down right here, you know, as best as I could. Now Eastside Pasadena was a neighborhood that was well known around this area, started since around the 40s, 50s. I was told it was known as the Chihuahuito neighborhood. You know, they kind of died out like a little bit like in the 90s. They were roughly a small neighborhood that was right there on Vineyard off Avocado Street, you know, because they had the farmers that used to work in the orange fields on the east side. You know what I mean? That was where they got down right there in the Dena area. You know, so it was an old school neighborhood that you know, that everybody knew was respected, and right there they had it on lockdown. You know what I mean? But like I said, due to the more larger neighborhoods and more gangs popping out, made recruitment a lot harder. You know what I mean? So the neighborhood just kind of like slowly you know, died out. But then you had another neighborhood that popped up, which was the Baca Street, which is the BST neighborhood, which is now known as the East Side Pasadena BST neighborhood. But it's different from the original neighborhood of what it was, you know, from what was East Side Chihuahuito Pasadena. But people getting confused, think that it has the same history, but it doesn't. You know, they kind of just went there, set up shop, and just, you know, became the neighborhood that took over. Now, it did become a clique off of Barrio Pasadena Rifa, but not all the members were willing to, you know, comply and join and everything like that. That's why people think that BST is a clique off of them, but then they have you know, where they do their own thing, you know, right there on like Garfield Street and stuff like that, you know, where they have like the Garfield Street, like Trece, like clique, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But you know, it's his own neighborhood, smaller now, you know what I mean. That neighborhood barely set up shop right there in the 90s, so it's not what it originated, but the original Eastside Pasadena history, you know, goes further back, you know what I mean. You know, right there in the Denas, but yeah, that was known as the BST neighborhood right there, Eastside Pasadena, and representing for theirs and holding it down right there for the east side of Pasadena. All right, now moving on right here. We have one of the most active ones right now, you know what I mean, when we're talking about Pasadena, that kind of stays out on the outskirts of Pasadena, but is one that you see up. You definitely see the activity by these guys, but they're not as old as some of these other Pasadena neighborhoods or as large, but you do see up, like I said, they're just active, you know what I mean? They got a lot of young bucks right there that are doing their thing for them. It's a SSP neighborhood. Now, SSP standing for Southside Pasadena. Southside Pasadena is located already a little bit out on the outskirts, you know, away from like where all the rest of the neighborhoods are at, but I would say their neighborhood is from what's California, to where the freeway's at, and then all the way to Del Mar Boulevard, and from Del Mar Boulevard I would say to Pasadena Avenue. So everything in the middle is what's considered their neighborhood, you know. So throughout Palmont Drive through Bellevue, and all of that, you know what I mean, is what's considered their neighborhood. And like I said, it's roughly a more smaller chunk of territory, you know, not that many, you know, pads right there, you know, kind of close to the Central Park, throughout those outskirts. You know, I know it's a little bit more nicer right there, but like I said, never judge an area, you know, by the way it looks, because looks could deceive, and that's pretty much how it goes down. you know, because the Southside Pasadena neighborhood is not playing, you know, right there through Fair Oak. You know, they got the Tiny Lokes. That's a clica that you see, you know, representing for them, and definitely putting theirs on the map, you know. So that's that Southside Pasadena, not to be confused with like Pomona or Southside Players. This is the Pasadena neighborhood, and continue to hold it down and represent theirs, you know, and putting theirs on the map.